All right, guys. So today, last night, really late. I was up late. Got the motor out of the Sportomatic 73 and a half. I'd like to go over it a little bit. First off, I'd like to say we are so close. We're 993 subscribers this morning, which I'm so excited. Hopefully we hit 1,000 today. You're a subscriber already. Subscribe if it helps out with the channel, or call a friend. And we're so close. All we need is a few more, and we'll have it. So spread the news, share the videos. That would be really cool on our part. There you go. Thanks. I got the car up on the lift, pulled the motor last night. I want to go over the Sportomatic stuff with you, just to just a quick look over of what it is. Check it out. So there it is. There's the 2.4 and CIS, first CIS injection. Let's go over the injection first. So these are all your return lines here. This is the return that goes back to the fuel tank. Okay, this feeds the warm-up regulator here. And it's funny because this stuff is so, first off, small. Plastic lines, fuel injectors right here, right into the head, not in the intake manifold like on the 2.7, all right? So this is the feed line right here. So this goes to the top of the fuel filter. This goes on the line. It goes directly back to the tank. And like I was talking about, the tubes are steel on this first year. And you can see that this plate here, I feel, was replaced. It looks pretty clean, although everything up here looks pretty clean. So I don't know. Was it replaced? Maybe not. Airbox does not have a pop-off valve, which I think is kind of rare, because that's kind of the first thing all the books and everything talks about. So this is the breather, off of the breather. And just so you know, this breather cover here, which is shaped like a football field, is one of the known oil leak areas. And then you got the thermostat right underneath there. Let me get my pointer here so I can show you that. Okay, so this here, right there, that's a big known oil leak, and it's pressurized. So that will leak quite a bit when it's leaking. Okay, and it's just an O-ring that you put in. You oil the O-ring, put it in there. You don't need anything, no silicone ever on anything on here, and that's what that is. Okay, so now across the front, like we noticed, it's got the tensioners already. That's all been done, which is good. There's the other side. Okay, here's your hookup for the engine. Everything with the engine is in here. And then this wire, which is your CD box. See that? And this, all the wires on this car are really in nice condition, which is really nice. This goes down to the charcoal box that's in the front of the car. Black, kind of an oval box. That's where that goes to. One in there, and then the other end here, which puts the vacuum on it. So that's what that is. Now, let's go over the Sportomatic. Okay, really unique system here. So let's start at the oil. We're going to start with the torque converter oil. Okay, so this is the exit. This is the intake. Oil goes in here. Okay, goes to thrust, changes here, and all these lines will be replaced. Goes into a metal line here. Goes underneath, sweeps underneath the trans. Comes up right out of here. You can see it there. Comes up into here. This is an oil pump that is ran off of the camshaft. So it's similar to, or the same as the turbo, which gets oil from this same type of pump here that feeds the turbo. This is going to feed the torque converter here. So oil comes in here, goes through here, goes into here, right here, and there's your torque converter right there, right? So this torque converter is ran off the oil that is in the oil tank. And so it comes through here. This rubber line goes back to the tank. And that's the circulation for only the torque converter. The transmission has its own oil, which is gear oil, 80 to 90, and that is here. That is the fill, and that is the exit right there. Okay, so fill to this level. You fill it to this level with the trans sitting even, and that's what that is. So the oil in the trans is gear oil. The oil that's in the torque converter here is off of the oil tank. Same oil that is ran in the motor. So that's how that is working. Okay, so these two fittings are only on a Sportomatic. I'll show you those. So the Sportomatic oil tank is definitely different now. So there's the tank, and you can see those two fittings right there. Those are only for the Sportomatic. All right, that's how that works. Now, let's go to the vacuum system. Since we're at the car, this tank that I showed you guys yesterday, that is vacuum storage. And that has a line that comes in there, comes right out of here. You see that there? Okay, so that line connects to the switch. Well, I will show you now. So now we're going into the vacuum part of it. So this is a solenoid right here. That's where that line off the air tank supply, which is vacuum supplied, here. So this solenoid, these wires here, when you touch the shift lever, it activates this, opens this valve. This is getting complicated. Opens this valve. It's really not, but so the vacuum is all fed at this point here, out of the air box. So it's pulling vacuum out of here, right? Goes to the tank, which is supplying the vacuum. Then when it's pulling the vacuum to activate it, when you touch the shift rod, it activates this and pulls vacuum out of the bellow. This is a bellow box here, or tank. And what it does is it pulls this rod here in. This arm goes in like this, and it pushes the throwout bearing. So the throwout bearing is right under here, and there's actually a disc, clutch disc in here that the bellow activates. So when you touch the shift selector, the micro switch sends the signal to here, tells this guy that I want to change gears, pulls the vacuum up, sucks the vacuum through here, knocks this in, pulls that clutch, and then it activates the throwout bearing, and then pulls that clutch. So then it pushes the clutch, and then that's when you're pushing the clutch, and that's when the clutch is released. So that's how this works. So it's pretty wild system. So it all works on vacuum, and if you look, here's another switch. Watch. Okay, you see that in there? You can kind of hear it. You see that slide? There's a switch in there. That all is working on the clutch. So that's how the clutch is operated. And the motor, the engine, so we're going to rebuild the engine. So we're going to disconnect all this. I'm going to change put a new clutch disc in this motor. In the trans there, we're going to switch that out. And that's about it, because this whole system was working great. Now this wire harness here is telling you, this is the gear selector. So when you put the car in neutral, this lets it, wherever the gear is selected, it tells the motor is in neutral, and it will let it start. This yellow wire is your 50 wire. So that 50 wire we'll say it closes the circuit and allows the motor to start. If you're in a gear, it will not start, and that's what that system does there. So we're going to rebuild the motor. we're going to put a pop-off valve in here so we don't blow the box, and that's kind of where we're at. So for today, we're going to lay the motor out and start to disassemble it, and we'll get into that when we start doing that. The car's going back over to John's house. He's going to detail this all up, and I think he's going to put a new blanket in it. And as we can see from here, the blanket sits behind the tank. So he's going to have to pull these 4 bolts here, pull the tank out, put the blanket in, and then reinstall the sound pad in here. And the sound pads I get from App Biz from Bob's. Bob has a really nice one. I like to use his. And that's actually, there's just like this one for another car. And that's this sound pad right there. So that's what we're going to do with this car. We are going to pull the brake calipers are all going to come out and go out to Pat and get rebuilt. If you need calipers done, I've got the guy to do the calipers. And I'll tell you what, for the money he charges, it's not even worth trying to do them yourself. He sends them out, gets them CAD plated, rebuilds them. And I was talking to him yesterday, and he told me that if you want to go with stainless steel pistons, he can do that. So we got the ones for the 66 912 coming, and that's what's going on right now. So I will get back on this thing. I just wanted to share a next video with you guys on removing the motor and kind of how the system works. So it's pretty exciting. All right, we'll catch you guys later in the next video on the 912 we're building. All right, remember we're less than 10 away from 1,000 subscribers. So click your likes. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, if you want the phone number contact for the brake caliper guy to rebuild them, he's in Long Beach. Pat's a great dude. Call him up, tell him what you got. He'll have you send them in. He'll rebuild the exact ones you send in. He does have some calipers on the shelf. He is a great dude to know. And does a beautiful job on them. So if you need that contact, let me know. Other than that, tell your friends, go and subscribe to us because we're so close. All right, we'll talk to you in the next one. Thanks, guys.
10